Okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to split screen my two screens. If you guys want to do that as well, that's great. Um,
I'm here, Jenna, for that comment.
okay,
Cool.
awesome. All right. So again, what I was saying is just yesterday, Pear Deck started a new feature, and instead of it saying present lesson, it now says start lesson. So when you click on it, it gives you the option to start it in either student pace mode or instructor pace mode. We're going to start in instructor pace mode, and then we're going to move from there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and it's going to open up and give you a code, and I'm asking that you guys go ahead and enter that code. And I'm going to enter it right in with you. As a part of being a Pear Deck presenter or teacher, you can also present or join as a student as well. So one, you're seeing what your students are looking at, but then also I'm going to show you how you can use that as kind of an annotation device as well. Sorry, it's taking a little bit. Make sure I'm on my right. Yep. Man, it's wanting to give us a run for our money. All right, here's our join code. I'm not going to make it big, so when it comes up, it's just going to be sitting right here. And if you guys will just enter it into your join PD, I'll say it out loud too in case you're not split screen. NYPFN. NYPFN. New Yards Pursue Fragrant Ninjas. Okay. Now, again, we've talked about mood before in my previous ones, but just in case, this is really a great way. This over here on the right hand side tell you how your students are doing, especially since we don't get to see them face to face now. This will be a good indicator of how they're feeling. So, you know, if they continue to do the yellow or the red, maybe we could reach out to them and see if there's anything that they need from us. I always talk to my students or add it to the Google Classroom or whatever. Hey, please make sure you tell me how you're feeling. I really want to know. It's very important to me. Please do not skip it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get started in here as a teacher and as a student.
Okay. Are you recording, Jenna?
Do what?
Are you recording this?
Yep.
Cool.
I'm doing it through QuickTime though. All right. So the first thing, let's talk about objectives. All right. Also, I want you guys to know down here. Notice if you haven't seen this before. These are my speaker notes down here on the left-hand side that I'm scrolling through. So as I'm talking, I can refer to this if I need to, okay? So here's our objectives. Our objectives are we're going to talk about the benefits of Pear Deck, and then we're going to experience Pear Deck with me. And you guys are kind of already seeing a little bit of that since since I just started this. And you can kind of see what we're talking about with me. And then ways to use Pear Deck with distance learning. I'm only showing you guys 3 ways. There are so many different ways that we could use Pear Deck with distance learning, but we're really only going to talk about 3 today. And then I'm going to talk to you guys a bit about some tips and tricks that you could use with Pear Deck, and then we'll have a time of reflection and questions. Okay. But the first thing that I want to do is I want to talk to you guys. I want you guys to go ahead and jump in and be the student, and I want you to answer this question: what is your experience with Pear Deck? Now, notice if you are split screening, your answer the question is going to be over here in the bottom right hand corner. So you're going to click on that to be able to answer the question. Okay, and we're gonna see where everybody is at. This also, just to give you a little bit of insight, this is usually what it looks like also if you're looking at it on a cell phone or a tablet. It shows show answer or show question down there in the bottom right hand corner. Okay. Okay, so most of us are already using it. Those who've seen it, Pear Deck being used, you're welcome to stay. You really are welcome to stay. But if you don't know how to set up a Pear Deck or anything like that, then please make sure that you come back over to this link at 1, and Jack and I will be here to kind of walk you through how to set a Pear Deck up, so that way you can really start using it. Okay. For those of you who are just joining, we've gone into Pear Deck. You're just going to go to joinpd.com. You're going to type in this code NYPFN, and then right now we're just answering this question. Okay, another thing on synchronous with teachers, I can tell that Emily, sorry Emily, I'm not trying to call you out, but Emily is one person who has not answered yet. Okay, everybody else has answered. We just have Emily who hasn't, and that's to show you guys that if you are able to do this with your students in real time, you'll be able to see who's participating, who isn't participating, just so you guys know. Okay, so what we're normally used to is this, right? The benefits of using Pear Deck. Okay, so we have our participant view, we have our session board, we have our teacher dashboard that we can see, and this right here on the left hand side is our teacher dashboard, and then we have the projector view. And right now that's kind of what I'm using this student screen for, is a projector view. Okay, but you can also actually put the projector view up there. Like for your students, what you would have your students do is this left hand side would be the projector view, and the right hand side would be their student view. So they can still see what you're doing as a teacher, and you might have to create a video, or maybe I'll create one here. In fact, I'll just write that down, to create a video. Okay, so you'll have your students open up split screen like this, and we'll have a projector view over here for them, and then you'll have their view over here. So that way, if you're wanting to show them anything, you can show them different things, you can. Now, some of y'all are probably going, okay, that's great, that's for synchronous, and that's when we have everybody in class, and when we do our Google Meet, we don't have everybody in class. And that's true. But you can record it just like I'm doing, so that your students can go back and watch it, and then also put it on Student Pace at the end. Put it on Student Pace, have them watch the video, and then they can go through it on Student Pace while watching the video or right after watching the video. That's one way that you can do it, so that you're still capturing those kids who did come to your office hours, but then also making sure that the kids who weren't able to come can still see it as well, and then also participate in it. Okay? I've had a lot of questions about, okay, well, that's great, good, wonderful, whatever, but how can I see, like if it's on asynchronous, how can I tell what's going on here, right? So when you look over here, you can see that I have 5 students in. So 5 of my 15 students I had in my class, I know that's a pipe dream, but 5 of the 15 of my students have actually logged into Pear Deck. I can tell that from over here. 0 are actually working on it currently, but I can see that one student left off on slide 4. Okay, I can also look right here, and I can see what my students have been doing, like what the question was and who's getting it right. So let's say that, see how Jack's circled only 3 right here? So Jack is correct, but maybe Katie and Selena, they might need a little bit of help. I might need to go back and work on this a little bit more with them. I think it was circle which of these are a reptile, I think is what this question was. And so there were really only 3. Jack's our science guru, so I know he's got it right. And so maybe I need to go talk to these 2 students about it. So you can see that even with Student Pace and them going at different times, you can still get in through the session board on peardeck.com, and then go to sessions and open up your session. You can still see who's where and what's been answered and what that's looking like. Any questions so far?
The only question was, Camille had asked about split screens on phones, and I'll just kind of say this for everybody. Only a few higher-end Android phones will do split screen. I believe like your Samsung Notes, and maybe your Google Pixels, and then maybe iPad Pro, but so I wouldn't worry about that for most of our students.
Yes, and then in the way that, like, I have a iPhone 11, and it's real easy just to take them and squish it back and forth like this to see the 2, so it's not necessarily a split screen, but you can have 2 right there by each other and scoot them back and forth. But this really does work work best on a computer or a tablet or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So also just another kind of way to capture these are my 5 people who have signed in. and or 5 people, sorry, who have signed in to start working on that Pear Deck. And then I can see right now that Jack is actually on. He's joined. He's working. Adrian, Katie, Selena, and Stephanie have already gotten offline. So that could mean that they started it and didn't finish yet, or it could mean that they're completely finished. I'm not sure yet because I haven't gone through the whole entire Pear Deck, but I can see that. And this piece right here, in case you're wondering, this piece right here was simply me clicking on this right here. Okay? So this is what tells me who's online and where they're at, who's online and how they're feeling and all of that stuff. That's what pops up, is this right here. All right, so let's look at this. Experience it with Google Meet. So we're going to use split screens with students to show the projector view on one side. So that's what you're seeing here. Here's my projector view on this side, and then their view on the right side. Okay, so, and honestly, each thing is different. Each computer, each device is different. I was going to try to show y'all all of the shortcuts to get them split screen, but the best thing to tell your students to do is Google split screen for Chromebook, split screen for MacBook, and it'll walk them through how to make the split screen like this. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this. Okay, so your students are gonna, or when you really start getting ready to use Google Meet to show this, I don't know how many of you have already started having to show your presentation screen, but if you haven't, this is kind of a walkthrough for that, right? So you hover over your face or whoever's face, right, until this little white document or white ribbon pops up. So the white ribbon will pop up, and then you're going to come over here and you're going to click on Present Now, and you want to click entire screen. If you only click the window, all they're going to see is exactly what you're seeing right now, and you don't want that. So you're going to click entire screen, and then you have to click this box right here. Click the whole little box where it looks like it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. You have to click that. If you don't click it, this blue share button is gray, and it will not be blue until you click this, right? And then you click share, and it will share your screen, and you guys, the students will see exactly what you're seeing. And plus their pictures. So right now, if y'all are looking on the Meet session, you can see this, but then you can also see video. Right now, I can't see video. All I can see is what you're seeing on the left-hand side of your screen if you're looking under the Meets. Okay? And then over here, like I said, for your kiddos who might not be able to make it, you can record the session, and you do that by clicking on these 3 dots and then clicking on record. The thing about recording in Google Meets, a screen will pop up and say, please make sure that you ask everybody that it's okay that you're recording, okay? And give them a second to say yes or no. If you need to record it and you don't want their pictures and stuff on it, just ask them to put on both the camera, to make the camera and the microphone red, and then it won't show anybody's face, okay? Questions so far?
No, not in the chat now.
Okay, so now we're going to come here and we're going to talk about ways to use Pear Deck with distance learning. And I know you guys can read, so the following are going to be ways that you can use it. I want you to take a minute, scroll through them, click through them, look through them. And when you see the stop sign that looks like this, because you're going to see numerous stop signs, but you're looking for the one that looks just like this one that says stop, check in here. Don't go any further in your Pear Deck. You're going to stay right there. But I'm about to turn it on student pace mode. But what are you going to see before you get to student pace mode? Here's the thing. I've got 3, like I told y'all earlier, I have three of these, right? So slides 11 through 63 are like a digital choice board that you could use and integrate with Pear Deck questions and things like that. Now, one thing that Pear Deck does not allow yet, they're working on, is linking within the slides. So I can hyperlink, and make you go out to quizzes, and it'll take you. But if I ask you to link to slide 15, it will not take me in Pear Deck to slide 15. And so you'll see my workaround for that when you're using a digital choice board with Pear Deck for now. Okay, and then slide 64 through 68 is a playlist, and it also shows you how to app smash using Flipgrid quizzes, and y'all feel free to look through those. You can click on them. They're all active links that will take you to things. And then lastly, number 3, we're talking about making PDFs useful for students. And so I'm going to give y'all about 5 minutes to look through these. If you have questions while you're looking through them, please ask. And then we'll continue. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it on Student Paste. The way you do that, in case you don't know, is these 3 dots right here on your teacher dashboard or your project screen, and then our projector screen, and then you're going to click right here, turn on Student Paste mode. I don't have to worry about this website because everybody's already here with me, so then I'm just going to click OK, got it, and you guys are free to roam. And if you're looking at the Google Meet session right now, what you'll see is people moving up and down on the Meet to look at what they want to look at, right? So we've got 11 up here at the top on number 1, and then we're just all moving down, okay? Now the Mustang menu is a food science menu, so that's what you're seeing there is just food science information. And then the playlist is for photosynthesis and respiration, right, Jack?
Yes, respiration, yes.
Okay, photosynthesis and respiration. And then the last one, the PDFs useful for students, that is a kindergarten math worksheet. So I did high school, middle school, and elementary, lower elementary. And again, if you have questions about how something was made, I made all 3 of these. I did them. I had a little help with the playlist as far as that, because I don't teach photosynthesis and respiration, but I came up with some of the stuff for it. So if you're looking at that and you have questions on how I did something, and then also those making the PDF useful. Feel free to answer questions if you want to answer questions on them too. And we can kind of look at that as well if you're wanting to see how it looks while the students are going through it at self-paced. I'll know everybody's ready to move on when we get down to slide 60, I believe it's 69, and, or I'm sorry, slide 71, where it says stop checking here. Once I see your little, or all 18 avatars right here, the blue little things that say avatars right here, that's when I know we're ready to move on.
Jenna, on the Mustang menu, can you click on that slide real quick?
Yeah. On the top, the very first slide?
Should be the Mustang menu.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So, Camille, I'm looking at it right now. No, there's not going to be a link where you can click on.
Okay. And that's what I was talking about. So when you look at this and you see the different colors, those are actually, if I didn't have it in a Pear Deck and I just had it in a Google slide, I could use this Google slide for my students to go back and forth to, but because the Pear Deck does not allow you to link to slides while Pear Deck is running, I can't. So that's why I have here listed, slides 1 through 5 or whatever it says, and then do slides 6 through 7 here. That's why I have it that. So like you would go and then you would figure out which slides you needed to do. Now, I understand that it is not matching up today, because I inserted this whole entire thing in here and I did not take the time to go in and say slides, this would really be slides 12 and 13. I did not do that because I just wanted you guys to kind of get a feel for it. You don't necessarily, as you're walking through it, you can kind of see that. What other questions can I answer for you guys as y'all are getting done?
Feel free to use the chat if you have a question as well.
Yeah. Oh, we got a cheater. We got 2 cheaters. Who are they? Oh, they moved back before I could get their slides. Or their names on the slide. And I show that because if you're doing this in real time and you've asked your students not to move, you can tell who's moved past. I wasn't trying to call anybody out, just so you guys know. Although it is fun calling the kids out. I'm not going to lie. So they think they can get away with it, and then they don't.
Is there Christina asked, is there a matching option like in Nearpod? No, not like what you're thinking it is. You can do matching where they can, you can back me up, Jen, if I'm wrong. But you can do matching like where they can circle or they can pick things, but it's not going to be where they click it run around, and then it stays, when you click both of them, they stay turned around. Not like Nearpod now.
No. And I will tell you this. They are really working hard on making some big adjustments right now. Things are coming out new every single day. I get a daily text message from some of my Pear Deck people telling me, oh, now go try this. Oh, now go try this. And they're really working hard to try to get Pear Deck to work the way that you guys want it to work, especially with distance education. So if y'all have things that you want it to do and it's not doing it, if you want to email it to me, J Montgomery at Mesquite, no numbers. I will make sure I forward it to the Pear Deck people because they're working and they really do try to accommodate us as educators. It was created by educators for educators. And they take what we say very seriously. Last year I wasn't in the district; I was in a different district, and I asked for about 3, no, maybe it's 5 things. It was 5 things. I kept telling them, my teachers want this, my teachers want this, my teachers want this, and 3 of the 5 things were ready to go in August. So they really do listen to us. And Mesquite is one of the top performers of usage for Pear Deck, so they really do listen to Mesquite. We're in the top 1% of the world in Pear Deck usage.
Yeah.
Give you a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna take you out of student-paced mode, and we're gonna keep moving on. Again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the things that we saw that y'all went through, just so I can give you kind of a background on it, but we're not gonna go through them slide by slide or anything like that.
I also will say that, like, even though Pear Deck doesn't offer exactly what Nearpod offers, there are workarounds to where you can kind of do the same thing. So you just kind of have to be creative with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So let me give y'all an example of that. So a lot of people want to use Pear Deck for to be able to show our students how to do something, right? And so here's one of the ways that I can do this. As a teacher, I'm still in and I'm in as a student, so I can come through here and I can say, because I want my students to know what the correct answers are, so I'm going to come through here and answer these, right?
So there are a few things and the questions in here I'm going to address right now.
Okay.
So Camille, so posting a link to your students. So hold on. So it looks like if I post a link to students to go to, I will pose a question or students to, but there's no question to answer. You can just put a link on the slide. Like you can always put a hyperlink where they can click on it, right, Jenna?
Yeah. What's the? I'm gonna come over here and look at the question. I don't.
So you can always put a hyperlink in there so they can just go to it.
So it looks like if I post a link for the students to go to, it will pose a question for students to, but there's no question or answer. What slide are you on when you see that, Camille?
Also, I wish when I wanted to enter text on a slide, the text screen wouldn't cover the whole slide. I'd like to still see the slide as I type, so that on 21 I'd be keep flipping back and forth to type and look.
Camille, I don't understand exactly what that one means either. If you don't mind unmuting your mic and talking to us, that would be able to help me.
Okay. Let me see. Let me just remind myself of my question.
Sure.
Yeah, because you have all these, and I did this on one of my assignments too, where I'd like students to answer multiple questions on a page, so I set it up for them to just type their answer into a column or something like that. But I noticed when I'm trying to type my answer into a column, this text covers the whole page, so I can't see the columns anymore, the answer options, and so I wish that text thing wouldn't cover the whole page, so I could still see the answer options and just type right onto the page. It's just a suggestion for Pear Deck. I know it's not anything we can fix.
You're talking about okay, so let me find a slide that might make it make more sense for me. It would probably be one of the ones up here. So, are you talking about maybe like a slide like this?
I'm talking about like slide 22, where you're supposed to put like A, B, C, D, F,
okay.
G, all of those in the row.
Uh-huh.
Every time I try to type text, it covers up all the options. It just says type here. And so now I can no longer see whether I want to add C, so I can't just list all the things I want to add right there.
I'm going to it as a student so I can look at what you're talking about too. So when you click on text and you want to type in right here?
Yeah, so I want to add A and B, I know, and then I want to look at all the other answers. Okay. So I have to click to type next to F and add A.
It's not letting me do anything right now. I think it's thinking about it right now. Okay. Let's see. Come on. Let me see if it'll let me draw. It may just be... Okay.
Yeah, you can draw.
So, okay, if I'm just drawing, then what, I guess help me understand what you're wanting it to do when I...
When you're just drawing, it's fine because you can still see all the answer options, but when you're not...
I don't know why my text is not allowing me to write a text. But usually it's just a small little... like a box, and then you write it, and then you can move it to wherever you need it to go.
No, when I try to type text, it covers the whole page, and I have to hit done to make that go away. I would share with you, but I don't know if I can present at the same time you're presenting.
You can't. Give me just a second. Let me see if it'll work on this page.
All right, Felix. The links to
that's new. Sorry, Jack. That's new. I see what you're saying. Type here. And I wonder, are you split screening with me right now?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so now it makes me wonder if when I click on that text, there you go. So you just have to move one back, or it's just because it was doubled up. So do you see how now I can type and I can see it?
Oh, well that fixes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's why I was confused, but I knew there was a reason behind it. That's the reason why. Okay, Jack, what else?
Felix, the links to Flipgrid Educations are added just like you normally would to slides. There's a link button. If you watch our beginner Pear Deck, we should go over that, but there's a link button that you can put in there that'll put in links for students whenever you are creating a slide. It should be on the right-hand side whenever you click Pear Deck add-on.
Okay, so what I've just done is I've stopped student paste, and I made you all go to stop check-in here, and then that's some of the things that I wanted to I'm going to come back and talk to you guys about. So you'll notice on this Mustang menu, and I know that the slides didn't match up, and I'm sorry about that. But like when we look at this Mustang menu, what I have students do is they get to choose which one they want to cover, and then they're going to go there and cover it. So if they chose, excuse me, the matching terms, they're going to come and do these two here, and then when they got to the stop sign, it'd say go back to slide 2, which I know is really slide 11, but that means go back to the menu slide. Right? And they could go on and go, and then we have all of the answers that we need here in Pear Deck. Okay? And I did that with the whole menu. And then let's talk about this. Okay, this is going to be under the tips and tricks that I talked to you guys about. Pear Deck does not make you submit anything. It's not like, okay, I'm done, click, I'm done, submit. You're just done. And you can end, and you don't have to press enter. So even on this question right here, if I was asking y'all what the answer is to this, once you start typing, the teacher sees it. Come on. It's running a little bit slow. But then you're done. You don't have to press enter. It's there. Okay? I can add another response if I want to, but it's there. Does that make sense to everybody? So at the end of every Pear Deck, especially student-paced, you want to put something like this. I'm done. Done and done. So that way they know that they're done and they can close out. Okay? Now, on this one right here, on the cellular respiration and photosynthesis playlist, what I want you guys to notice here is that I only used Pear Deck for the avenue. We didn't do anything else with Pear Deck other than this is my way of giving them the avenue to get to things. Okay? This is great because then it's all in one place and the kids can't accidentally click on something and make it go somewhere different or whatever, because once you open up a Pear Deck and it starts playing, they can't mess with it and change things up or accidentally click on things. And the deal is that sometimes when we put just a slide deck into a Google Classroom, sometimes the permissions are set weird and you can't get to it, or you've got people trying to get to it and they can't, and then they're asking you for permission to get to the slide. That kind of cuts that down on Pear Deck. But again, notice, all I did was I used Answer Garden, so students would read this, click here, and when I click here, it will take me out of this Pear Deck and open up a new tab right here and take me to an Answer Garden. Okay? Same thing right here. All I did was I'm giving them options because it's a playlist, right? So they can either explore that thing link, or they can read that article, or they can study that infographic. Don't care how they learn. And this infographic right here is different from this one. These are all links that they can click on. And again, you would explain that to your students because you're not sitting with them, going through it with them, okay? I might make a quick little video to show them and and in the Google Classroom, I'd say, watch this video first, then proceed with this Pear Deck, okay? All right, same thing here. They're going to watch the video, and then I want them to pretend like their friend's absent, and they need to tell them what they learned from the video. They can either write a summary on this Padlet, or they can go and record the summary on the Flipgrid. Okay, so I'm just using it as kind of to app smash and let everybody kind of see what it looks like, right? So on this one, I want them to go and either create something using EduCreations or Screencastify. And then they're going to give me their finished link in a Google form. And then lastly, they're going to decide, do they want to, this is kind of messed up. I forgot, I was working on this at 11 last night. I forgot to turn this link to your education link on it. This is really supposed to say, take this quiz on Google Forms or take this quizzes. Okay, so they could choose, do they want to do a Google Form assessment or do they want to do a quizzes assessment? Okay, that's all that is. And then when we're looking at these, all I've done on these is I've taken my PDF and I've put it in as the background of my, well, you actually don't have to put it in as a background. This is just the picture of part of the worksheet on this slide, and then I made it a drawing slide. So we've been getting a lot of parent requests saying there's a PDF, my kids can't use the PDF. I can't figure out how to get them to write on it, or it's too cumbersome to write on it. Can we get something besides a PDF? This is a real quick fix to a PDF situation. Okay? Questions for me about those things that we've done so far? All right, let's talk about these. And I'm going to go ahead and exit out of my student-paced session. I don't need that anymore. And I'm just going to come over here to this. And look here because we're going to also go a couple of different places. And hold on, this is not the right one. Sorry. Here we are. All right, so you want to, like I told you guys, you want to join as a student, go through the whole Pear Deck, and you can put all your correct answers on. And then when you end the Pear Deck, it'll give a takeaway, and then you've got like an exemplar to show, or an answer key for a takeaway for further student review. Just like I showed you guys, like if I wanted to do this one right here where we're making the coloring in the larger numbers, I could show my students my example, right? And so they don't know that it's my example, but it would be my example as I'm showing them on that projector view so that they could see, oh, okay, this is right. And then again, you can also do it for the takeaway. So if you want students to compare their answers with the right answers as another assignment or a review kit ready for a test, you can do it that way. Okay, in just a second, we're going to show you how to start more than one student-paced Pear Deck at a time for each class. And then, like I told you guys, always add an ending to the slide so that students know when they are done. And then, if you are working in teams to create these Pear Decks, we either need you to force a copy to your teacher friends or publish your lesson, and I'll show you how to do that. And the reason that you want to do that is so that way, like, if my kids don't need this one right over here that's larger numbers, and I just want to go ahead and start with fill in the missing numbers, if I delete this from the Pear Deck that Miss Barman sent me, then I'm deleting it for everybody. And so we either want you, and we've had a couple like, oh my gosh, I did that, and now how do I fix it? We either force a copy, which I'll show you how to do if you don't know how to do that, and or show you how to publish to the web. Okay, all of these tips right here are hyperlinks to Immersive Reader, how to use Immersive Reader. So if you have students who are having a hard time reading, you actually can have the slides read to them. Now, here's the caveat to that, okay? So these are PDFs, right? So they're pictures. It will not read the picture. It will only read what I type onto the screen. So it will read this whole entire screen for me, but up here, the only thing it will read is make PDFs user-friendly again, okay? So it won't quite work if you're putting pictures in, okay? And then the Pear Deck has weekly wonders, and those are just quick little quick little questions that thought-provoking questions, interactive slides that you can ask your students and get questions back from. And then they have a News ELA Daily that you can also use with your students. And there's a new one daily. So that way you can use that with your students, and it makes it more, you can use Immersive Reader with it, and there's questions about the, I'm sorry, y'all say Newsella. I've always called it News ELA. Sorry. Newsella, and they read and answer questions that makes it interactive, so that's another option that you have. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about starting more than one student-paced Pear Deck for each class. So I've opened up a new tab up here, and I'm going to go to peardeck.com. Teacher login. Also, the Newsella, the Weekly Wonders, and the Immersive Reader on the Pear Deck agenda that was attached to the link that you got this with. The agenda has them hyperlinked as well, so you can get to them there. All right, so in peardeck.com homepage, you're going to go to Sessions. And this is the one that I'm working on right now. And I'm going to come over here, and I am going to actually name this session. And I'm going to name it, is it Thursday? Today's Thursday. I wanted it to be Wednesday for some reason. Sorry, guys. Thursday at 10. Okay? And so then I'm going to click rename it. All right. Now, I can come back over to, or I can go into my Google Drive where I have this at to make multiple sessions continuing to stay open. I'm going to come to my Google Drive. I'm going to pull up my, should be right here under Quick Access because it's the last thing I opened. Okay, close to this first one. I'm going to open up, like I'm working on Pear Deck again. Sorry, it's so slow. My computer needs a break. I don't think it's my Wi-Fi. I think it's my computer. and I just am going to click and open up that session again. I'm going to share the code with my students. Start the session. I'll go ahead and open this one up into Student Pace because that's exactly what where we're headed with it, right? Okay, copy this link and send that to, or share it with the classroom right here, and you'll get that one going, right? And so then when I come back over here into my sessions and I refresh, it'll show that I have a second session running. I'll label that one. And then you can continue to do that to have however many sessions you want running at once. So if I'm a secondary person, so if I'm teaching middle school, I might have 6 sessions running because we have 7 periods in the day, right? If I'm a high school, I might have 6 sessions running because I have 3 classes each day. Okay, however, you do it the way that it makes sense to you. But notice how many I have running right now, total. Now, live means that it's teacher paced or instructor paced. Student paced is blue, and that means that they're on and going, and you don't turn them off until you're ready to turn them off. Okay, let's see. So add an ending slide. We talked about that. Forcing a copy. So if I come over here to force a copy, what you do, there's 2 different ways. You can click right up here and click edit, or click and get rid of everything, but edit and then type in the words copy and press enter. And when I'm not going to do that right now, but when you press enter, a white screen will appear, and it'll say on the thing, it'll say something about you need to have a copy of this. Would you like a copy? And in a little blue box, it'll say make a copy. So you want to do it that way, or you can also do it this way right here. The little hamburger over here on the Pear Deck add-on, you can click on it and then click publish and share your lesson. And when you click that, you go through the steps of that. It does not publish it to the World Wide Web for everybody to get to it, but in the end, it'll give you a link that you can send to your teachers, and that link will get them back to looking just like this. But then they can't mess with your copy of your Pear Deck. Questions about that?
And not in the chat.
Okay.
In case anybody didn't read, there were some questions about the whole annotating. You just take your PDF as an image, put it as the background, and they can write on it. That's it.
Hold on. What's the question about annotating? You have to be a student.
You set the PDF as a background. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but if you're wanting to annotate for the students, you have to be a student also in that class, and you can be the presenter and the student at the same exact time, but you have to be both in order for you. Like if you're trying to give them an example over this, I would use my other tab that I have minimized, and I would draw over it. And what I would do is I would put it on the projector for the kids. They would see it in the projector mode, and they would see what I was doing as a student. Does that make sense? Otherwise, the students are able to annotate over the PDFs by doing that, by putting it into a drawing mode. All right. So, got a question for you guys. You should be seeing it on your screen, and then when you're ready, just answer it. I've also turning it on student pace mode. There's another question right after that if you guys want to answer that one as well after you get done with your first one. And notice on mine, I'm showing in the teacher dashboard, so I can see if somebody, who it is that's talking. But when you're showing it to your students in the projector view, I would be able to see none, but I would not be able to see their information. And so I'm going to move it off of this one in case you do have a question, but you want your name attached for people. But if you have questions, please add them in there. I will look at them after we get done here and email you any of the answers if you have any questions. And again, I'll be back on this exact Google Meet at 1. So if you play in with it and you're like, I'll be here from 1 to about 1:45 on this exact Google Meet link to answer any of your questions that you may have. And then also if anybody left because they were uncomfortable and didn't understand and want to come back and ask questions, I'll be here for that.
I'll be here as well to help as well.
And then also on this last slide, that please reach out to an instructional coach if you have any questions. If you click on that, it will take you to our distance learning form. If you need assistance, you can fill that out, and one of us will get back to you with your preferred method as quickly as possible. We're pretty quick to get back. I don't think that there's a very long wait time on that. That's the end of the presentation. We still have several minutes, so if you have, we have about 9 minutes, so if you have questions, Jack and I are here to help answer those questions for you, or whatever assistance you need. If you have a Google Slides question because you liked something that you saw but you weren't quite sure how to do it, those are the things that we can answer for you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and stop recording this session.